In the ever so complicated world of washing machines, it's really hard to find a washer that's just pretty good at everything. But today I think I found it. This is the 2018 WM3770HWA LG washer. It's also the same washer as the WM3770HWA. The only difference is one is white and the other is in a graphite finish or a stainless finish. This washer boasts a 4.5 cubic foot tub, has 12 wash options, or wash programs rather, and 10 options. This washer's claim to fame is the 6-motion technology, which basically means that the tub doesn't just rotate back and forth like traditional washers. It has 6 different methods of agitating the clothing, which is pretty clever. It also has turbo wash, which basically means that it has a recirculating pump. And this really helps in fully saturating the clothes by pumping the water onto the top of the clothing and getting a really good saturation of your soap, and during the rinse cycle it's very beneficial. It also has a drain clean out that's easily accessible, and I can't stress to you how important it is to have access to your drain filter. A lot of times you'll get a baby sock or some loose change that you forget to take out of your pants, and instead of paying $100 and something for a service guy to come out and dismantle your washer, you could simply just do it yourself. It has this clever little access panel, and you simply unscrew the filter assembly and clean out your clog and put it back together, and you're done. This washer weighs a total of 203 pounds out of the box. It also has a 1300 RPM maximum spin speed. Now, that's not to say that it'll always spin at 1300 RPMs, but it is possible. This washer is very clever because everything is pretty much automatic sensing, as in it detects how much laundry you've put into the machine and adjusts the wash time, the fill level, the spin speed, all of that stuff automatically. They basically figured out a way to get you pretty much hands off as far as controlling the washer, which is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. A lot of people want full control over how they do their laundry, how long they wash, what type of rinse, yada yada. And some people just want to put their clothes in there and have them come out clean. Now, if you're part of the latter group, this is definitely a washer to look at. If you're looking for full control, this washer might prove a little bit challenging because the computer likes to figure out everything for you. This washer does come with a standard manufacturer's warranty of 1 year parts and labor. It does come with a 10-year warranty on the motor, although I've never changed a motor on an LG washer ever in my life, so that's kind of a little bit of a gimmick. And then obviously a lifetime warranty on the stainless steel drum, which is another part that basically never goes bad. The tub warranty does not cover the spider arm, which is something that does happen to go bad on these machines. Not in serious frequency, but it's about on par with most other washing machines. Looking around and shopping for this washer, you should expect to pay about $950. This machine does retail for $1,049, although they're typically on sale. And sometimes you could find a really good deal on this machine and find it for, in the low 900s or high 800s. What I really love about this washer is that you could just put anything in it. You could use a queen size comforter, a king size comforter, towels, shirts, huge load, small load. It doesn't really matter. It figures it out and it gets it clean. The turbo wash is really, really a cool option. I actually own the WM3670, which does not have the turbo wash option. And I picked that because it had the Water Plus option, which I thought at the time was more important to me than the turbo wash. But after watching this washer work a couple of more times, I'm starting to realize that maybe I should have brought home the 3770. In fact, after I'm done with this review, I am going to bring it home. And I'm going to bring back my 3670 and do a review on that, which is also a great option too. But I think that the 3770 is worth a couple extra dollars in terms of wash performance and rinsing. This washer is excellent at washing all across the board. There's not a single load that didn't come out respectable in this machine. It also is an excellent rinser, but with all front loaders, you do have that occasional linting problem. And this is not specific to this LG washer. This is just front loads in general, or all washers that don't use a lot of water. It's just hard to pick up and carry lint away when you're not using a ton of water. That said, this washer is just about on par with lint removal with every other front load washer. This washer is very, very quiet. It balances loads like magic. I mean, it really was almost amazing how it was able to, get into full spin on even the most unbalanced loads. And if it does go off balance, it will correct itself. So that's something you don't really have to worry about. This washer is a great option if you're looking for a machine that is just great in every possible category. This washer is not the best performing washer I've ever tested, and it probably will never be the best performing machine, but it is great at just about everything. So if you're looking to kind of split the difference and get a washer that's very versatile and very useful on a variety of different loads, this is definitely the washer that you should be looking at. As you can see in the video, I've tried a variety of different loads, from queen size comforters, towels, empty, full. I even washed my own laundry in this particular washer, although I'm very experienced with this machine. As I said before, I have the 3670. But look at the size of the load that I put in that machine. In a top load washer, that would be about 3 loads for me. Now granted, the washer does take a little bit of extra time because it's, just by virtue of it being a front loader, the wash times are longer. But I was able to get basically this triple load done in about 45 minutes, which I thought was pretty reasonable. If I was doing this in my top load washer, I'd have a minimum of 30 minutes per cycle, so I'd be an hour and a half in on 3 loads of laundry. Even after you jam-pack the washer, once the wash water gets into the clothing, you'll see that there is still plenty more room. I could have put a little bit more laundry in there, but I don't want to push my luck. I didn't have any other laundry to do anyways. That was all my week's worth of clothing. So the bottom line is this: if you got kids and you find yourself doing a lot of laundry, and you're okay with just having great results and not the best results, this is definitely the washer that you should look at. There's really nothing about this washer that I don't like. I think that it's well optioned. It has a lot of great programs, and even the smart diagnosis in the rare event that something goes bad, you could basically figure it out yourself via a cell phone app. As far as reliability goes, I think that this washer is a really solid machine. Generally speaking, when I'm out in the field servicing LG washers, they're basically already 7 to 10 years old. And when I service them for their first time in their life, they typically need a water pump. And that's a pretty common thing with most front loaders, and it's not exclusive to just the LG washer. Another common failure point on this machine is a little part called a hall sensor. And that's basically like the eyeballs for the computer. It detects how fast or slow the tub is spinning, and it sends that information back to the computer. And that's a pretty cheap part, and it's pretty easy to fix. Contrary to popular belief, this washer is actually very easy to service and very DIY friendly. Taking it apart can be done with a Phillips head screwdriver, and that's about it. You do have the option of buying a special tool to remove the tub bellow, but that also could be done with 2 screwdrivers. It's actually really simple to service, and this is one of my favorite washers to work on. As you can see, in the course of about 10 minutes, I had the machine completely tore down, and I wasn't exactly in a hurry to do it. If anything goes wrong with this machine, you could probably figure it out here on YouTube, order the part on Amazon, take the machine apart, and fix it yourself. And that's a really great thing because paying the service guy is pretty expensive. Ask me how I know. Now let's talk about mold, mildew, and broken spider arms. Now, I'm not going to go too in detail with this stuff, but everybody, the reason your door gasket gets moldy is because of you. It has nothing to do with the washer or its design. There's three very important things that you need to do when you own a front load washer. Number one, leave the door open when you're not using it. When you trap water in a dark environment that's sealed, you're going to get mildew. It's like common sense. Number two, don't use the cold water wash. That is the one option that I wish would just get deleted from the face of the earth. So let's put things in perspective, everybody. I understand that warm water will tend to fade clothing, but the warm wash on most front load, or actually most modern wash machines, is like 80 degrees. That's like not even bath water warm. So don't be afraid to use the warm wash. Warm water helps dissolve soap more effectively and helps it saturate into your clothing better and not just get stuck on the side of the tub, which will cause mold. It's actually mildew, but just for the sake of argument, we'll call it mold. Number three, take advantage of your self-clean cycle. You're probably thinking, why should I have to clean a washer that's sole purpose is to clean my clothes? Well, that's just how life is. I'm sorry, deal with it. Run your washer on a self-clean cycle, perhaps once a month or once every 6 months, or if you ever notice that it's getting a little funky in there, just run it on a self-clean cycle. Put a cup of bleach in there, or a half a gallon of vinegar, or whatever's you want to use in a fresh tab, that's totally fine too, although bleach is probably more effective, or vinegar. All you want to do is disinfect the tub, and it's really important to use it. The self-clean cycle is very clever, and it does a very good job of cleaning itself out. Another thing to do that are not absolutely mandatory, but you should probably do it, is once every 6 months or so, you should clean out your coin trap just on general purposes, because you're probably going to find some random little wrapper, sticker, or something that gets stuck there, and all of those things are great for attracting mold. Another really important thing, guys, is don't use too much soap. Front load washers need a minuscule amount of soap to get things done. And when I say minuscule, I'm saying no more, absolutely no more than 2 ounces of soap per load. 2 ounces is about a shot glass worth of liquid detergent, or 2 pods. 2 pods is the maximum I would ever put in a front load washer. I know sometimes those instructions say to put 3 or 4 pods. That's absolutely crazy talk. I would never do that in a million years. I get excellent results with 1 pod, and if I use a huge load of laundry, I'll put 2 pods in, and my clothes turn out perfect. Don't use too much soap. If you follow those basic steps and frequently use warm water washes, you'll never have a stinky washer. I've had front loaders not all my life, all of my adult life actually, and I've never had a washer that was stinky. In fact, my parents back in the early 2000s bought a Maytag Neptune washer, which is the mold issue is what put Maytag out of business back in the early 2000s, and it was this specific washer that put them out of business because of the mold issues. Their washer has never had a gasket replacement, and it smells wonderful in there. And we're talking 18 years later, they still have the same washer, and it does not smell like mold. And this is coming from a washer that put Maytag out of business because of their mold issues. And I credit it to leaving the door open and not using too much soap and taking advantage of a few warm water washes. The Neptune never even had a self-clean cycle because it never found it necessary to do so. If you're in the market for a new washer, I definitely recommend looking at this WM3770. This is one of my top 5 all-time favorite washers. I definitely recommend buying it. I give it 2 thumbs up, pat on the back, good job LG. If you're looking for a machine that's going to be reliable, well-rounded, and highly versatile, that you can wash any variety of loads with it, this is definitely the machine to look at. I appreciate your guys' time. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment box below. And obviously, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again.